The Beyond the Classroom program is unique. It allows children and their teachers to spend an extended period of time in an interesting site. So it could be anything from a zoo or a city hall or a nature center, a museum. But in order to get the most out of that experience, they need what we call habits of mind, and that's the skills of drawing and writing descriptively about what they're seeing. And those skills don't just happen. The classroom teacher does a lot of work before the class comes to the site in helping her students to gain those skills. You're going to be coming to the museum for a whole week, but it's really, really important for you to learn beforehand how to observe. There are two skills that are very, very important when you're really looking at something. One is drawing, and the other is to be able to describe something in a lot of detail. And it's really weird, because the brain takes shortcuts. We have these images in our head of what things should really look like. So if you ask a child to draw a house, most children will draw the same house. But this is sort of a stereotypical house. It's an image in our head. So if I said, draw a tree, and just do it with your hands in the air, okay? So let's do a tree. Okay, now some of you did that shape, right, with the trunk, and some did this, right, the Christmas tree. But that's sort of a boom image that's in here when you think of a tree. But if you really look at a tree, I mean, a tree, well, let's see, we've got some twigs in here, think of a tree, what it's like. It's very complicated, and it's a different shape, and trees are all different. So when you really look at something to draw it, your drawing is way better because you're drawing what you see. And when you draw, you use your brain and your eye, and the two of them work together. So in this sort of drawing, don't use your imagination, draw what you see. So why is drawing important? Drawing something carefully makes you focus and slow down. You have to look at details such as shape, patterns, and shading. Now, I'm not an expert, but the strategy that I've learned to use seems to really work. The most important thing is drawing what you see. You know what I do is I put little dots on my page to sort of get the shape. It's longer this way than it is this way, right? Put a little dot there and a little dot there, and then a dot there and a dot there, and then you can kind of do this oval thing. I'm a fan of erasers at this stage, because if you think you're making a mistake, then redo it, okay? And we're going to be coming around and we're going to be a little critical of what you're doing. This part of the exercise is having the students copy a line drawing upside down. Explain that the idea is that they really have to look at the lines and they're not making assumptions, no brain shortcuts. And they have to work slowly and carefully using the guidelines you've laid out earlier. Looking very nice. And remember to count the toes. Here. Okay, this is good. This is nice and round. I hope so. But here, what's happened here?
This
What's
black
this?
little ones, that's shading, right?
I don't see that on here.
Told you.
Look, this is like a ball. It's detail. And then you've got these two small balls here, but I don't see that on your drawing. You guys are doing well. So outline first, very light lines. Now, I think what you've got to the stage where you can turn it right side up.
Yay.
Okay, now have a look at it critically and see if there's anything you need to change to make it look a little more realistic. Is there anything that you can change? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and you don't have to get the shading exact. It's just, you just want to show that what the skin is like a little bit. Because there's some amazing drawings up here. Wow. And you've all done a good job. I think you should be very proud of yourselves. Okay, what I did was I brought some objects from home. These are not museum objects. That's what I'm going to do when I come back in 2 weeks. We're going to learn how to look at objects in a museum. But today, this is just about drawing. Sort of lens at the front comes around like this, and then it's quite a dark. It's quite dark. And then there's up here, it's wide. And there's a black button there. And then here, this line is sort of curvy. It's not really straight. And then here, there's this sort of thing that goes out like that. And then it goes like that. And then you start looking for the dark part. So that button is dark. And then this thing around the front here is also very black. So this is just a real quick thing here, but. And then inside, there's some odd, where the lenses are. It's very hard to draw that. But, okay, so I'm gonna stop here because I want you to get going. So lightly sketch the outline, then add details, okay?
Like coloring and stuff.
Then the shading. So I brought some everyday things from my house. And so in your groups, about 4 people will have an object, say these people here. They would have an object sitting in the middle, and then their job is to draw that on a new piece of paper. But once you've decided where that object is sitting, how it's going to sit, do not touch it, because you are going to draw from your viewpoint, not your neighbor's viewpoint, your viewpoint. And I only want you to draw what you see. So get your proportions right first. Decide whether the object is taller than it is wide. Put your little points on the paper. So they follow the same guidelines that you gave them before. They need to focus and take time. Before they come to the site for a week, they should have several practice sessions at school, drawing objects and writing their observations. Oh, yes. Now remember, if you're looking at this, it's narrow and then it gets fatter at the bottom. Boy, that is a tough one. Woohoo! Wonderful.
This is this, and then this back here.
Is this supposed to be this line? Oh, okay, it's a little too fat. You should need to make that thinner. See how thin it is compared to the window? The wheels, they do have a rim. Can you make this a double, like a donut?
You got it.
Yeah, I think it'll look a little better. Boys and girls, I just wanted to show you Owen's drawing here. Yeah. He had that glass little candle holder down here. Nice work. Yeah, he's made the little ball in the middle a little too fat, but other than that, it looks very nice. Sorry. It's very stylized. You know what stylized means? They've taken a shape, a real live object thing, and made it very simple. Oh, yes. You happy with that? I think you should be. Good job.